Listen carefully. Building out an AI operating system for your business is the single highest ROI decision you can make right now. We helped one client save $50,000 per year in payroll and 40 plus hours a week by installing an AI operating system inside his business. And I can't stress it enough, because after seeing dozens of businesses, agencies, consulting firms, construction and quantity surveyor firms abusing these systems, it became clear to me this thing will separate businesses that lose and win over the next couple of years. Companies that implement this thing will run leaner, with higher margins, less headcount, and will dominate their market and competition. However, most people still have no idea what an AI operating system is, what it consists of, and how to build one. So that's why in this video I'm going to show you and break down exactly what an AI operating system is, what it's made of, and how to set up one for your own business. Let's get into it. An AI operating system is a methodology for running your business, not just some product you buy. You build it in layers, not all at once. After a few weeks of deliberate work, those layers stack up together and you end up with something that knows your business, tracks your numbers, and monitors what you and your team are doing, and also handles tasks that used to eat your week. Now, as I said, it consists of multiple layers, and at its core is a business layer which stays untouched. Your business model doesn't change. Whatever you sell, however you deliver it, the AIOS wraps around your operations, not through them. It takes on work that currently sits on your plate or on your team's plate. The next layer is the context one, which is all the information that you provide about your business. The reason most businesses fail with AI is that they skip this layer. You need to feed the agent context about how your business actually runs. Without it, it can't work well. Now, the next layer is data layer, which allows us to connect AIOS to our numbers. Once it has context, you connect it to your data and tools. Now it tracks your numbers in real time, knows what's happening across your business, and can build reports without you asking twice. The next layer is intelligence layer, which monitors so you don't have to. This layer watches what your team is doing, surfaces what matters, and flags what needs attention. You stop hunting for information. It automatically is sent and coming to you. And finally, once you have all these layers in place, you build the final layer, which allows you to execute at scale. The outer layer handles tasks that used to eat your week, that you used to do yourself or your team used to do themselves. It takes actions, builds things, runs reports, and executes works inside your CRMs, your tools, your systems, and with your leads. Moving on to the bandwidth problem and why this fixes it. Here's the real reason you should probably build this. And if you've been running a business for more than a year, you probably felt this already. Most people are spending about 80% of their time in their business, managing day-to-day operations, handling deliverables, keeping clients happy, and answering the same questions from the team. That leaves only 20% for the work that actually grows the business. New products, new channels, new campaigns, and anything else that actually grows the business. That 80-20 split is why businesses stall, because you never got the capacity to act on the strategy you already have. And essentially what AIOS allows you to do is to pull that 80% down. Not to zero, but take some operational work from your plate and just execute it on your behalf. For example, from 80 to maybe 30 to 40%. Each task that you automate or cut time on gives you more capacity. And once you have more capacity back, you decide where to allocate it. And if you're smart, you would allocate this time toward the tasks that actually grow your business, not just some admin or operational stuff. That's what this is about. Now we gotta talk about the first layer, which is context. And this is the one that makes every layer after it work a lot better. For any AI system to help you run your business, it has to know your business properly. Not from a paragraph you paste into ChatGPT, permanently, in a structured way, stored in files that system reads every time you open it. Context is all the information about who you are, what you sell, who your clients are, who's on your team and what they own, what your current strategy is, and what your brand voice sounds like. When this is in place, every output the system gives you is calibrated to your actual business, not some generic advice that you have to adapt yourself. The other thing is this kills the re-explaining problem. If you ever use ChatGPT or Claude for business tasks, you know the feeling of pasting the same background every single session. Here's what my business does, here's the offer, here's our clients, and so on and so on and so on. Context layer completely eliminates it. It's there every time and the system builds on it instead of starting from scratch. So the more context you give it, it actually compounds over time, such allowing you to unlock higher returns and even more intelligence later. Layer 2, data. Once your system knows your business, the next layer connects it to your numbers. Context tells the system what your business is and where it's trying to go. Data tells it where it actually is. When both are in place, the system can do things like pull your ad spend from last week, compare it against your revenue data, and tell you which channel is producing and which isn't, without you doing any data aggregation or pulling work manually. This is what makes AIOS useful for decisions, not just content. Most AI tools are good at generating text. However, they are almost useless for business analysis because they have no access to your real numbers. The data layer fixes that fast. The sources you connect depend on your business. For most of the setups that we did at Systems Department, it's a mix of Stripe or a payment processor, Meta and Google Ads, meeting transcription softwares like Phasm or Fireflies, a CRM or pipeline tool, and a Gmail and Drive. You connect what matters and what you actually use inside your business. Layer 3, intelligence. This is the biggest immediate shift that businesses notice once they implement it. The thing is, context and data tells the system what your business is and what the numbers say. Intelligence gives it what actually is happening on the ground, in your meetings, in your Slack channels, in the decisions that your team is making every day. For most business owners, there's a daily cost to just knowing what's going on. You are pulling updates from 3 different places, catching up on Slack thread you missed, trying to remember what was decided in Tuesday's call. That takes an hour a day easily. The intelligence layer handles that for you and delivers it in a single brief every morning. So it's not just a data dump, but it's using AI intelligence to draw conclusions and insights from available context and data that your AIOS is connected to. The brief is the output that makes this layer tangible. Every day you can get a Slack or Telegram message covering what happened across all your meetings the day before, what the numbers look like in the past 24 hours, what's behind or flagged, and what the content ideas or opportunities came up in the conversations. You read it in 10 minutes and know everything you need to start the day. Here you can see like an example of a morning brief for a plumbing company where they have Fergus, their job system, connected to the AIOS. And as you can see, every morning they receive a summary of how many jobs were created across different regions in New Zealand, also the revenue targets and breakdown, and also just some general checklists and any other things that they usually do on a daily basis and used to check manually. And I want to note, this brief only works because the first 2 layers were in place. It needs the context to know what matters and what doesn't, and it also needs data to report on numbers accurately. Layer 4, automate and build. The first 3 layers give system knowledge. This layer is where you actually use it. Look, before you automate anything, you should do a task audit. You write down every task you do in a given week and just break down it by category. For example, content, admin, client delivery, team management, other. And then you just capture everything. After this, you move on to evaluating each task. How long does it take? How often does it happen? And does it require your judgment or does it just require your time? If it requires your time, you automate or delegate it, or if it requires your judgment, you keep it on your plate and you try to optimize it as much as possible. Then once you evaluated each task, you move to the prioritization. And for this, you can use this framework. Focus on tasks that are high time consumption and high frequency, and rank tasks based only on these 2 factors. Now once you have them ranked, you move to the execution loop. Pick one task, automate or reduce its time drastically, move to the next task and repeat this loop consistently. Once you have the task automated, you have a new capacity unlocked, so go on and reinvest this freed up time into new products, new channel, new campaigns, or just fix broken systems you were ignoring before. And the key insight here is most tasks don't need you, they need structured context, systems that can handle this without you being involved. And for all of this, as I already said, you need to have the first layers in place, which gives the system knowledge, allowing it to automatically execute on your behalf. Look, setting all of this up in the right order and getting it to actually work takes time. The context layer is relatively quick, a few hours to write and structure it. The data connections take longer depending on what tools you're using. The intelligence layer and the automations on top of it can take weeks of iterations. At Systems Department, we have done this across agencies, recruiting firms, e-com brands, content businesses, and generally any ops-heavy business. We handle the full build: context structure, data connections, intelligence setup, daily brief, and the first set of automations mapped to your actual task audit. If you want us to build your AIOS so you're not starting from scratch, the link to book a call is in the description. We'll audit your current setup, map out highest priority automations, and build the layers in order. Either way, once your system is running, you need to know if it's actually working. Here are the 3 numbers that tell you that. These 3 numbers are away from desk autonomy, task automation percentage, and revenue per employee KPI. Let's discuss them one by one. KPI number 1, away from desk autonomy. Can you run your business from your phone away from your desk for a full day? I guess right now you can't, but with AIOS that's completely possible. What this looks like is that 80% of your admin tasks are doable via mobile phone, just via Slack chat where you just message your bot, give it some instructions, and it goes on and performs this thing for you. Another thing that you should look at is that nothing mission critical breaks if you're away for 24 hours, and also your team has what they need to keep moving without you being reachable. And why this matters is that it's a clean test of how much your system has actually taken on. A lot of business owners think they've delegated, but they're still the main bottleneck at their own business. And if this test fails badly, the bottlenecks are usually in the intelligence layer. The system isn't getting enough of the right information to act without you. KPI number 2, task automation percentage. Let me ask you this: what percentage of tasks from your audit are now automated or heavily assessed? And what a good picture looks like is 70% in the long term, but what I would set a realistic 30-day target would be 30%. And why this matters is that this is the bandwidth you directly are able to just save and allocate to another things which actually grow your business. And every percentage point here is a time you get back and capacity you unlock. And if this number isn't moving, you're either stuck on complexity, and by the way, you can ask your AIOS for help here, or you're spending time on tasks that weren't in the audit. Finally, KPI number 3, revenue per employee. To calculate this, you should divide your total monthly revenue by your total headcount. And what good looks like is that the number goes up over time as AI handles more of your work. It can go up 2 ways, by the way. Revenue increases while headcount stays flat, or headcount drops because certain roles are no longer needed. And why this matters is that it's the clearest financial measure of whether AI is making your operation more efficient. Most small businesses running AI wells are seeing this number climb fast. Look, and if it's flat or going down while you're investing in building an AIOS, something in the setup isn't working. Usually the data layer isn't connected to the real decisions yet. That's the full AIOS model. 4 layers built in order, measured by 3 numbers, and built on top of AI agent harnesses like OpenClaw or Cloud Code. The businesses who build this now and get it running are going to have significant operational advantage over their competitors. The business landscape is moving faster than most people think right now, and the ones with the most capacity to act on these things quickly are going to be pulling ahead. This is why if you are watching this video, this means that you are still early and you have this opportunity to use this unfair advantage to get ahead. That's all for today. If you want to learn more about AI operating system setup with OpenClaw and see concrete use cases, you can check out this video next. See you in the next one.